Breath of the Wild walkthrough. So the old guy did a little bit of my job for me by explaining in the previous video how we put pins on maps, and you can just right click in the right analog stick, or just click in the right analog stick, and then you can push A anywhere that you're looking at, and that'll select a pin for that location, which then gives you a nice waypoint on the minimap. So the shrine that we'll be going to is kind of that one to the left there. I don't know what color that is. I am colorblind. But first we're going to take, once again, another detour and kill a couple of these bokoblins here. You don't have to kill these guys, but as I said before, we really want to try to take as much stuff from them as we possibly can. And it's kind of cool just to show off the different things you can do here. So sneaking is going to be a pretty important thing in this game, whether it's sneaking up on enemies or sneaking around enemies, or more importantly, in my opinion, sneaking up on resources. So we're going to be using meat as the majority of our food because it just really seems that other resources that we'll be collecting will be way more used in quests than things like meat. There are a few meat quests, but for the most part, not quite as many as like mushrooms and diamonds and stuff like that we'll be collecting. So meat will be our main source of food in this game, and meat also seems to be some of the most efficient healing things that you can get from the start. So most of the things that you'll be getting meat from are birds that you shoot out of the sky, or foxes or boars that we'll be seeing later. So I'll be explaining a lot of that as we go, but for the most part, that's the kind of food we'll be using. And I also lost my train of thought of where I was going with this. Anyway, so we'll notice here the first time we run into a different colored bokoblin, and this means that they are a little bit tougher. They usually have way more health and also carry better weapons. So that's a good thing for you, because if you can kill them, you get their better weapon. But if you die to them because they can kill you a lot quicker, then that's also, you know, just part of the challenge. But, you know, honestly, these bokoblins aren't really too difficult. We'll start having way more problems with them once they start carrying spears and other long-ranged weapons. But for now, when they keep their shields and bows and short-ranged weapons, are really not too big of a deal. The spears are probably some of my favorite weapons in this game, even though most of them seem to be pretty weak. But their long reach does make up for it, because you can stand back from enemies and you don't really have to worry as much when it comes to getting hit by them. Okay, so now we're finally getting on to the shrine, and this is going to be probably the most challenging one, I would say, just because there's this stupid guardian in the way of it. Now, when I first did this part, I had no idea what to do, because the guardian will kill you in one hit, and in fact, he will keep killing you in one hit, even up until you have like 9 hearts and some decent armor. So there's not a whole lot we'll be able to do about him yet, and in case you don't know, the guardians are these dead guys right here. One of them is still active, and you'll find many active ones across Hyrule. So if you see one, unless you are absolutely certain you can kill it, my suggestion is just to run away. You have to shoot him right in that eyeball, and when you do shoot him in that eyeball with an arrow, then it stuns them and they're not aiming on you for a little bit. But as you can see, they can get this laser line sight on you, and that laser sight will follow you extremely far away. They can see you for miles, so try your best just to avoid them, run away from them if you can, hide behind things. And since we can't do anything against that one, we're just going to climb up the wall and completely ignore him. There's in fact another guardian to the right of us around in this kind of ruins, so we'll be worrying about him a little bit later once we leave the shrine, but even he's not too bad. So the guardians we will be killing later on in the game, because they drop a lot of ancient items, and as you probably saw, I was running up to them, searching them and picking up the ancient screws, ancient shafts, and when you kill them they just drop tons of those. And those are going to be extremely useful in upgrading our Sheikah Slate abilities, and later on upgrading some different armors that we'll be needing, and also some other uses. So we'll be killing and grinding through a couple of those guardians as time goes on, but that won't happen for a while. So this is the Jabe, whatever it is. Anyway, this is some fancy monk Impa shrine, and we're going to upgrade our Sheikah Slate with yet another rune. In this case, if you can't tell by the cracked blocks, it will be bombs. And bombs are going to be some of the most useful infinite tools that will be given. So these bombs are not limited in any way, except that there is a slight time recharge period once you do use one. When we finally upgrade the bombs later on, then that time recharge, that regeneration period will be extremely quick, and they'll be a lot stronger. So these bombs are extremely useful for killing weaker enemies like chews, weaker bokoblins, and that way you don't have to waste your weapons on them, and they're also just great because if you're running away from an enemy and you're next to a cliffside, you can throw the bomb next to the enemy and then knock them off the cliff. Now unfortunately in this game, for some strange reason, enemies don't get fall damage, so if you do knock an enemy off a cliff, they'll still be alive, and they will remain down there until either you kill them or you run away, and if you run away, they'll come back to where they were at full health. I think that was kind of I don't know if I'd call it an oversight, but really an annoyance that I can't knock people off of cliffs. I mean, come on guys. It's usually horrendously inconvenient if I do knock an enemy off a cliff. It'd be horribly inconvenient if I to climb down there and pick up his stuff. So I don't really think it would be, I don't think it would be like a huge benefit, I guess, to being able to kill him that easily. But hey, I guess there's some places you could knock off a ton of enemies and just get a ton of items really easily. So maybe that's why they did it. I don't know. So anyway, here are these push blocks, and you need to put a bomb there to blow up those bricks over there. And you'll notice there's a chest on the left side, and also this Sheikah ball. I think it's a Sheikah ball at least. And I'm pretty sure that Sheikah ball is just there to demonstrate how these work, because that is going to have absolutely no use inside of this shrine. There will be many shrines where those Sheikah balls are going to be extremely necessary, and in fact will be extremely enraging even. I mean, there's a couple of shrines that, my goodness, make me so mad. But we won't get to them for a while, so for now we'll just want to get the chest if you want. You don't really have to get it if you don't want to, and then come on over here and get a second spirit orb. So that's going to be pretty close to the end of this video. I'm going to stop narrating here and then continue on when we go for the third spirit orb.